Okay, it's time for 4-1. This stage, there's one like really big difficult strat, and it saves quite a bit of time if you get it. I'll talk about that when it happens. Otherwise, I think everything is pretty doable. And there's a couple of well, there's one pretty interesting thing I don't think a lot of people don't know about in this stage, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. I think a common misconception, actually. So this, you don't want to get damage boosted by any of these two first guys. These first two orbs don't actually matter either. This one matters. This gives you the fire wheel. You get the fire wheel, get boosted by this guy. That makes it so this guy doesn't do anything. And then you can fire wheel. There's also a ninja there if you need to back up. You can also slash this thing, but it's really hard to do. You want to slash, like, aim to try to hit the tip of it on the top, kind of. Practice with it if you want. It's not something that I would recommend doing, though, and it's not something I've been doing in runs. I think it's easier just to fire wheel him. And then this orb here is, or sorry, not that orb. That orb is a down fireball, I think. This orb is red ninpo. You have to get this. Okay, here's sort of similar to 3-1 and 2-2. You're gonna jump and get boosted by this, but you don't want to be holding A, because remember, if you hold A and right, it's going to just push you off. So instead, what you're gonna do is press A and hold up and right, and you get boosted by this guy onto the wall. You want to get a good jump here. You also want to jump a little bit. You want to go into this guy a little bit before you jump. The problem if you go too early is that you'll jump and this guy will boost you to the left. If you go a little, like halfway into him and then jump, this guy will boost you to the right, which is what you want. This bat won't cause any problems. You hit the ground, immediately fire wheel. This will give you invincible fire wheel. But don't try to cancel your jump right away, otherwise you'll cancel the ninpo. So use your fire wheel, hold right, and then like a few frames later then jump, and you'll get it. Sometimes that bird won't die. If he doesn't, just use fire wheel down here or in the middle of your jump. It shouldn't be an issue. And when this bird's about to get to you, you can fire wheel. There's one advantage of doing it later, actually. Also, you want to jump as late as here as possible. The advantage of doing it later is when you're on this wall, if you mess up your wall slashing, you won't actually throw another fire wheel out because it's already active. One problem you run into is if you have to use it early, like if that bird doesn't die, you have to keep that in your short-term memory that the fire wheel isn't there. At least if you don't want to go for risky wall slashes, like I don't go for it. Because if you accidentally use a fire wheel here, you'll lose a little bit of time. You have to get an extra ninpo. Same thing here, don't wall slash. I use this second, like sort of like ladder rung to jump. So like when my feet are about here, I jump off. Doesn't really matter what you do here. Here's another place. If you want to be fancy, you can actually wall slash here, and it's okay if you accidentally use fire wheel. But you can't use fire wheel too late. You want to use it as soon as you jump up here. If you use it too late, you're running into a problem up here. So first, what I was saying, if you use it too early, it's not going to hit this guy, so you actually have to slash him. Keep that in mind if you try to go for that. If you use it too late, you're going to, fire wheel is going to kill this orb. So you don't want fire wheel to kill the orb, otherwise it's going to drop to the floor. The other thing, there's a ninpo we actually hit earlier with the fire wheel. That ninpo is important. This you do not want to hit. If you hit this, it'll give you the up fire, which you do not want. This fire wheel, you're going to use it all the way to the end of 4-2, assuming you do the non-hard version of 4-2. But even then, you're still going to be using this throughout 4-2, even if you do that strat. In any case, this is what I was talking about, sort of misconception here. The hitbox of these orbs are actually higher than they appear. It's more something like this. It's like a square and it's like that. So a lot of people think that you have to jump early in order for your sword to actually hit this orb. There's a scroll here. We want to get this. There's 2 backup scrolls, but you lose time getting them. So you can actually jump as late as possible and still slash this thing. The only thing you have to pay attention to is where your sword is going to hit. So usually I just try to aim the top of this thing and you hit it. Here, let's see, I jump moderately late. Let's see, when does my sword slash? My sword slash, as you can see, quite a bit above it. This is still going to give it to me. So I got the scroll. The next thing I want to do is invincible fire wheel. You can either use it now or as you're jumping, but I think this is the safest spot. Because if you mess up, then you can use a backup. Like if you aren't holding, like if you slash instead or something. You don't want to use the fire wheel too late either. You need to make sure to use it somewhat early, because there's an orb up here that is a ninja star. Like I said, we don't want to lose fire wheel. So now I have fire wheel. This is a blue ninpo, so if you accidentally use ninpo earlier, you can get this as a backup. Fire wheel is going to make us invincible to all of these guys. This right here, this red fire, is the red ninja star. So notice it wears off right about here. We don't want this. Now for the easy strat, I just walk off the cliff. There's a harder strat, which I'll explain after this. You just walk off the cliff, and then you need to slash up. This is important too, the timing of this fire wheel. You can use it any time between these 2 pillars or so. This right here is a backup scroll, or it's a blue ninpo if you get the actual scroll. This right here is a blue ninpo. You want to hit this. Notice I have 12 right now. I need at least 15 for the next stage. But this isn't too hard to hit. You just jump sort of in the middle and it's gonna fall right into you. Now what I do is just hold left and I jump basically right when I hit this pillar, and that guy boosts me in. You don't want to try to jump too late here. Sometimes you can actually jump through the guy. And you can't fire wheel too late either, otherwise your fire wheel will just kill that guy and you'll fall to your death. Okay, let me explain the hard strat now. Oops, I keep doing that. The hard strat, there's a pixel perfect jump with the bird. It saves time. It also saves some time if you mess it up, but you're also prone to like messing up more if you mess it up. Even if you get it, you're prone to messing up afterward. So let me do it up here. Say 2. Okay. So what we want to do right here is the jump. If you jump at the last possible pixel, is frame perfect, you'll actually be able to land here and be able to keep moving. So let's try to do this. It's read only. Okay. This is one thing that happens if you mess up. You grab onto it like right there. When that happens, you're okay. You actually save time over the other strat if you do this, but you have to be able to react fast enough and jump back on. You also have to time this jump well, because if you just jump over, then you'll grab right on there. So you need to do this, and then fire wheel, do the rest of it as normal. If you jump too late, that will happen, and then you just go back to the old strat. A lot of this is just reacting to what actually happens. Also, the reason I save stated so far back here, there's actually a queue I use. This little fourth, or yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of these little black cracks. When, let's see, is it the tip of my foot? When the tip of my foot hits that, if you get pixel frame perfect jumps on all of these, well, maybe not frame perfect, but if a couple of them are frames off of being perfect, you'll, well, you have like a couple frames. I think you kind of know what I'm trying to say. I can't say it. If all your jumps are very well timed, you can do this entire thing without stopping and land on it. One problem with this is it's actually really deceptive. There are a lot of times where I feel like I'm gonna get it, but I don't. And sometimes when I think I am gonna, or I'm not gonna get it, but I do. And those are the times where you end up making continual mistakes. Because when that happens, let's see if I can at least get it a couple times. That was good. It has to do with the feet animation. Because notice here I'm getting it. The problem is where you land here, your foot animation is going to be different. So if I land really early and I jump, it's going to be different than if I had landed late on this thing and jumped. So you can't really use the feet as a visual cue for this. One thing you can use is like reuse head, because his head is always constant. But it's still I don't know. I don't have that great of a cue for it. I look at the feet even though it's not all that helpful. On a good day, I probably get it over half the time, but on a bad day, I probably get it less than 10% of the time. It really depends. It's hard to do. You do save quite a bit of time if you get it though. And that's 4-2.